Beautiful evening to you. You're welcome to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel, and I'm very, very happy to be here to bring you up to speed with the latest are evolving around the beautiful world of sports. On our menu today, we shall take a look at the overall performance of the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers, as well as all the stories are evolving around the beautiful world of sports. This evening promises to be an exciting one, so we'll urge you to sit close to your TV sets as we have a lot for you in the beautiful world of sports. Stay with us, and be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, I'm not alone in the studio this evening. I have Emmanuel Michael. Michael, good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers out there.
All right, it's all about the national games, Michael, because we understand that the opening ceremony, of course, is on the way. From what we're seeing so far, what do you make of it? Delta State once again hosting the National Youth Games.
It's going to be a massive one for Delta State. I think they've actually assert themselves as one of the best in terms of hosting National Youth Games. This is not the first time they will be doing this. I think they are doing it back-to-back. 2023 edition, they also hosted. This 2024, they are also making their presence felt as well. And for me, I think they truly have what it takes. Before they can get that mode to host it back-to-back, it clearly tells you that they've actually met with the criteria before they are given that hosting right. But I think for me, in as much as they are trying to show the difference between what they've been doing in terms of sport development, I also think that it would have been better if it goes to other states as well, so that we get to have a feel of the different cultural background or cultural heritage of other states as well. I know there are some criteria that must be in place before you meet up with the hosting right of the National Youth Game. But then I feel if the bidding right was thrown open so that other states, 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, coming to bid for it, and we see another state, hosting the National Youth Game, it should have also been an opportunity for other states to also develop their sporting infrastructure as well. So for me, in as much as I commend those state effort in terms of trying to develop sport generally, I must also, speak this one to the heart of the Ministry of Sport, that an even spread of the National Sport Festival will also, help in improving the facilities of sport generally right here in the state. Just imagine if we take it to, Bayelsa State, take it to Lagos State, take it to probably River State, you know, just share it around. You can imagine within 5 years or even 10 years coming right now, we'll have a massive, you know, sporting infrastructure right here in the country, which will also be be used as a veritable tools, you know, to help raise some other young talent coming through the rank as well. So for me, I think this is what they need to look at, but narrowing it down to the preparation for Delta State, I think it has been very, very massive, and we are even expecting that they surpass last edition, you know, success as it is, because we've heard that they've put final touches in place, talking about the accommodation centers for over 5,000 athletes that will be in showcase for this very one. Then again, they talked about security as well, which I think is very, very paramount. You know, so if there's anything to go by, you know, the report we've gotten from the local organizing committees, I think they are set for this very one.
All right, all is set this time for the 8th edition of the National Youth Games, and of course we understand that there have been an improvement in terms of facilities. The main bowl, the 3 indoor sport halls, the swimming pool, and the VVIP and VIP lodges at the Stephen Keshi International Stadium, the Senate Tofa. And also part of course, which of course has been put in place. We also understand that the volleyball and 2 handball courts have also been put in place as well. The ultra-modern hockey pitch and its adjoining sports hostel, and the hostel facilities at the Dennis Osadebe University, which are expected to accommodate about 70% of the athletes, and we'll see how this one will go down. But Michael, from what we're getting as well, the organizers, you know, promises to put up the culture of you know, Delta States in the opening ceremony.
Yeah, that is what is expected. Traditionally, if you are hosting, I think you must be able to bring this rich cultural heritage, which such state possess to the world. You must be able to showcase it to the world, because it is a big opportunity, an ample opportunity for the state out there to showcase their cultural heritage to the world, which for me, I think is very, very necessary. It's one of the traditional rites, you know, being performed every year when we talk about the National Youth Game. And if they can also maximize it, take full advantage of it to display their cultural heritage to the world, I think it's going to be a big one for them, because it will attract, you know, we call it partnership. It will attract, you know, foreign direct investment. It will also attract some sponsors as well, and it will attract or improve, you know, tourism, because there are so many persons out there, you know, that haven't tasted the culture of Delta State. Because of this platform, they can be able to showcase their rich history of culture out there to the world. There are so many persons, you know, that are tourists that want to also come to Delta State to see what their culture is all about, and doing so simply means that they are going to have a very good economy, because as a tourist coming down there, you must pay for hotel rooms, you must eat food, you must buy 1 or 2 things, and it is also adding to the economy of such. So for me, expectedly, we hope to see the best of the cultural heritage of Edo State.
Delta State, of course, you may
Delta State, rather.
Let's see how it goes, of course. I'll look forward to see how this one will pan out at the end of the day. Let's stay away from that. We understand that the Nigerian para-athletes who participated at the 24 Paralympic game in Paris, they are back in the country. But talking about that, the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Wanino, has said that Team Nigeria was able to win 2 medals at the 2020 Olympics because the then Sports Minister Sunday Dare had 2 years to prepare the athlete. Speaking in an interview yesterday, and lamented that he has just spent a year in office, which according to him is not enough to get the athlete ready for podium finish at the Olympic Games. Team Nigeria failed to win any medal at the 2024 Olympics in France, while Nigeria won 2 medals, silver and bronze, at the 2020 Olympics. Since then, the nation made its debut. In 1952, Nigerian athletes have appeared in every edition of the Summer Olympic Games, with the exception of the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal because of the African boycott. In the 2020 Olympics, Blessing Obododo won silver medal In women's wrestling, 68 kg freestyle on August 3rd, while Brume on the same day won bronze in women's long jump. Michael, what do you make of the assertion of the sport minister saying that Sunday Dare, the former minister of sports, he said he had time to prepare the athletes. That's why they were able to, of course, get 2 medals from the Olympic game in Tokyo, and as well the para athlete also got a total of 10 medals from the Tokyo Olympic Games as well. What do you make of it? But he's saying that the reason why, of course, the athlete couldn't rack up medals this time is the fact that there was enough time for him to prepare the athletes, unlike you see Sunday Dare, who are 2 years.
Well, for me, if there were a very good succession plan on ground, I think it wouldn't be talking about him not having the time to, prepare ahead of the Olympic game. If Sunday Dare had 2 years to prepare and we got 2 medals, I think he had a year to prepare. Maybe at most we should have been able to have even a single medal. Hence, the benchmark is that Sunday Dare spent 2 years and we got 2 medals. He had 1 year, but did we even achieve even 1 medal? No. So I do not want to align myself with such a criteria or line of thought. I think the truth is that Nigeria and Africa as a whole, we don't have a very successful succession process, because if you do, I think the minister coming into power, coming into office less than a year and plus before the Olympic game, I think if there were other plans on ground, maybe call it more like an autopilot system where it doesn't matter who comes in. What matters is that the template has been set, and whoever comes in, whether it is Mr. A or Mr. B, and it doesn't matter the timing that such a person is coming into office. Hence, there is an autopilot system where you just come in and you fit in, you keep driving the process. It would have spared us some of these complaints and blushes here and there. So, in as much as he stayed 1 good year, it would not be fair to judge him, that or lay the blame at the bulk of his office just because we didn't win a single medal. But then, the problem is not even having more time for him. Even if he had 5 years, 10 years, without doing the basic thing, without doing the necessary thing, we wouldn't still yet win any medal or even make any impact either at the Paris Olympic Games. So it's just about a transition process right here in the country. An office holder will just come into office. You spend more than 4 years, some get 8 years tenure. But let's take 4 years, for example. If you have put a certain structures on ground, if you have put a certain plan on ground, it doesn't matter when you leave office. You leave office after 4 years, and there are certain things that is already on motion. There are certain things, activities, duties that have been set on motion. And somebody comes in after your 4 years. Because you have set something in motion, that person will continue with what you've put in place in order to complement your effort or possibly finish such an idea. But then, there is nothing like that. So anybody that comes off it, you want to start from the scratch. You want to create your own niche. You want to do something different so that when you leave office, you will be remembered for a certain thing. And that is how, we keep changing the system. Anybody that comes in, you don't want to follow the precedents that have been set by your predecessor, but you want to do a new thing that when you leave office, they will also be pointing finger. Oh, that is what Sunday Dare did. That is what Solomon Dalong did during his era. And that is what Senator John Owaneno did during his era. So for me, it doesn't work that way. We must have a unity of purpose. We must have a common front that this is what we want to achieve for the sport ministry. And you go ahead and start making the plan. If anybody comes in, he will continue with that plan, and that is how we are going to get there. But when you come in, you want to do your own thing in your own way. Another person comes in, you want to do his or her own thing in her own. How do you be able to articulate all of these lofty ideas that all of them have? Because any one of them that comes to office, he must have an idea. He must have something to do. But if you don't back it up by your next predecessor, it looks like it's a waste of money. There are some projects that under Solomon Solomon Dalong rather, that were ongoing. There were some plans, but then Sunday Dare came in and they forsake that plan that was carried out by Solomon Dalong, and that is how he went down the drain. The money that was pumped was gone, wasted. That is how we continue to shuffle it around, and we cannot get there if we don't have a target that this is what we want to achieve. Okay, a sport minister comes in, you have a 4-year tenure as an appointee. Yeah, okay, we don't have stadium right here in the country. It is only one standard stadium that we have, which is Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. And I come in as a sport minister and make it as a point of duty, say no, this time around, even if he has to deep hand into the coffers of the ministry to make sure we have at least additional 2 standard stadium, that can serve the purpose of hosting international match. And I don't end up completing these 2 stadium before my tenure comes to an end. And you are coming in to take up my responsibility, to take up my position because my tenure has elapsed. You must also continue to see if we can be able to finish that 2 stadium that I have already initiated on plan. That is what it means for you to have, something on motion. But if I don't have any idea, I come in, no good stadium, no good training facility for sportsmen and women I stay 4 years and now leave. Another person comes in. Where is the person going to start from? So that has been the problem. It is the bane of Nigerian sport development, and we must correct it so that we have a way forward.
All right, let's see how it goes. I think the sport minister will know what to do. And now that he is on seats, of course, at least put up a very good foundation, for the next sport minister that will be coming as well. We shouldn't be, having excuses like this. Not a very good one. Whenever we go up there to compete, we will always come back with excuses. Let's see how we can do away with excuses. I hope that Senator John Wanino, who is the sports minister at the moment, of course, will be able to put up a very good performance before he leaves, of course, his office. But Micah, away from that, we heard that judo is gradually gaining momentum in Nigeria. Judo, Ludo, a leisure game, played the most all over the world, is making thunderous entry into the Nigerian sporting profile as a money-spinning pastime. For the first time in the history of the country, a Ludo Championship will take place on December 14 in Lagos, with match winning 2.5 million prize money at stake. Put together by private sponsors, the competition will bring together Ludo enthusiasts from all corners of Lagos State and its environs to showcase their skills, strategies, and determination. The first place winner will take home an incredible reward of 1 million naira, while second place and third place winners will receive 750,000 naira and 500,000 naira respectively. Michael, what do you make of this particular one? Ludo becoming, of course, a very, let's say, very important sports stand here in Nigeria.
It is the trend. Don't forget that they just concluded the Olympic game. Judo was also one of the new games that was incorporated or introduced into the Olympic game. And for me, I think it's a nice one. Let's also follow the trend, that is moving, because the world is moving and we can't stay static. If there are new areas of sport that we need to also explore, hence it has been incorporated into the Olympics. It is a potential medals for us in the future Olympic, because if you can get mastery over it, then it's to our own advantage. We will be among the earliest countries that started winning medals from the, from Ludo, from Olympic Games. Now, Lagos State being the first state here to float this kind of idea, massive one. That is why we are talking about thinking outside the box. You must not always remain constant wherever you are, whether in your thought process or whether you are in your action process. You must be able to be inventive. You must be able to be creative. Lagos State taking the lead here, and they are not just making it more like a one-off thing according to the organizers from what I read online. They have taken it as a plan to institutionalize it, because it is going down to the different local governments. This competition, it goes down to the different local government before they can be able to select the best from each local government. Then you aggregate them and have more like a round-robin format in the final, and that is where they get to select the best. Now, come to think of it, if Lagos State, the whole local government in Lagos State is taking part in this kind of massive competition organized by a private entity, now different local government takes part in it, do you want to tell me that at the end of this hostility that at least 2 good professional Ludo players will not be discovered? They will, and it is an advantage to the country, it is an advantage to Lagos State, because in future, whenever Ludo is being talked about in any competition, Lagos State will be the first state to confront and say, yes, send us, we will go there and we will deliver. So it is a big advantage. And I think that other states as well should also key in this direction, because judo is it's not one of the popular games in sport, but then it has been made, it has been institutionalized in the Olympic, where we can also get medals. Don't forget, countries like China, it's from this kind of sport that is relatively unknown that they get to rack up most of their medals. You know, because how many medals do you want to rack up in the known sport? Maybe in football, 1 medal, basketball, 1. You know, just name the major sporting event out there. But in areas like swimming, dart throwing, hammer throw, ludo, these are areas where you can be able to amass medal that is not known to other countries, because some other countries are focusing their eggs on the relatively known sport. Football, for example, how many medals there? Is it that gold or silver? That's all. So if we can be able to take a cue from what Lagos is doing and follow it with this, you know, passion as it is right now, and I tell you, in future, Nigeria will become the hub of judo, rather Ludo play right here in the country and even in Africa. And I know now that it has been introduced and made, you know, to gain the medal ranking by Olympic organizers. Other African countries, before you know it, they will start developing that passion in that game, because they want to also float it in the next Olympic game for some of their athletes. And by then, Nigeria has already gained mastery. So we'll go there, you bring any player who defeat them and get a gold or even silver medal. So it is an advantage for Lagos State and for the country at large.
Well, what do you make of the game itself? Talking about Ludo, is it, does one gain mastery by practice? Or is it luck?
Because no.
So how does it really work?
No. You know, there are sometimes about gaining mastery. There is a way the small plain rubber and eat. There is a way you toast the seed. It gives you, maybe they call it ski 1 or ski 2. You know, so which is a crown and a very high number.
So there's a way you hold it,
yes,
and throw it, and 6 will come out.
Exactly. And if you have not been practicing it, you will just be throwing it, you know, anyhow you like, and you might not get the possible numbers that you are looking for. It's a bad practice.
Record the time for Nigerian basketball, as the country's boys and girls teams have qualified for the quarterfinals of the African Under-18 Basketball Championship ongoing in South Africa. It is a historic time for Nigeria in the Afro-Basket Under-18 events, which serve as the qualification tournament for the FIBA Junior World Cup built for Switzerland. It is the first time that 2 Nigerian teams would get to the quarterfinals at the level. The girls have picked the quarterfinal slot as one of the 3rd best teams from their group. J Tigress will face Egypt today in the game built for Pretoria. The Nigerian ladies lost their opening game to the Egyptians and now have a second chance. It is hoped that the players will be a lot better physically after going down with you just before they face Uganda in their last group game. Michael, impressive feats for the Under-18 basketball team of Nigeria, both the male and the female, getting down to the quarterfinal. The first time, you know, this has happened. I don't know what you make of the feats and how far do you see them go from here?
First, I think it's a very commendable feat, and basketball is actually growing right here in the country, whether you like it or not. Taking a look at what Rivers Hoopers did, you take a look at what D Tigers did in the Afro Basketball Championship Africa, then also take a look at what they did as well in the just concluded the Olympic game. It's very, very clear that basketball is gaining the needed momentum. right here in the country. And the under 18 category, we are not also left aside. We are doing pretty well, being the first time that both the male and female category we are making it through to the quarterfinal. Very impressive and commendable one. Let's hope that we can continue to, build on this very gain. Team had to face some visa challenges and problems where the South African embassy in Abuja, refused to grant them a visa. But then they were still able to overcome such challenges, because even the male counterpart, they had to arrive Pretoria an hour before their first game, and not just against any team, it's against a defending champion, and they lost that very one, won their next 2 games, and that is how they got to this point. So for me, I think they truly have what it takes to even pick one of the 2 tickets that is available for the African continent to qualify for the under-19 Afro Basketball Championship that is slated for Switzerland.
All right, let's see how it goes. We hope, of course, they at least, put up another level of performance, to get far this time in the championship. I'll take a short break now. We'll come back from the break. I'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of football. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, it's time for we to bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of football. And we take a look at the Nigerian Premier Football League. Match day 1, of course, just got concluded. And match day 2, of course, is upon us. But talking about, before we get down to match day 2, Abia Warriors technical advisor Imama Mapakabo has urged club supporters not to panic after their disappointing starts to the 2024 and 2025 season. The Omaya club suffered a 2-0 home defeat against Ramos Stars. Imama Mapakabo Michael at the helm of affairs down there at Abia Warriors once again. I don't know what you make of his reign once again in the team.
I think you can't just start using one game so far to start judging his reign in the team. I think just like he has said out there, he has told the fans not to panic as there is no cause for alarm. He just played one game, so we can't start assessing his tactical prowess so far just by one game. We'll wait to see. There are more 37 games to play before the end of the season, and that is where we can also start assessing his performance. It's too early days to start assessing him for now.
Losing at home, you will say, yes, of course, too early, but the Nigerian Premier Football League, maybe things has changed. but we'll see how it goes. Wasn't that easy as well for the top managers, the likes of Amunike? Didn't get it very easy as well. Finidi George, they also get it very easy. You know, as instead, Imam Amakapabo, of course, was one of them. And let's see how it goes. Just like you mentioned, early days. We'll see what Imam Amakapabo, of course, will bring to the table. Well, from that, move straight now to talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. 2025 AFCON qualifiers, of course. We saw the second round of the games yesterday, and Super Eagles of Nigeria couldn't get all 3 points against Rwanda. They were able to get just 1 point as they drew that one goalless. Michael, there's been a lot of praise for the Super Eagles of Nigeria when it has to do with performance, especially with the interim manager, Austin Eguavon. What is your overall assessment on the performance of the Super Eagles?
Been good. It's been good for me. Having played 2 games, scoring 3 goals, considered none, sitting first in your position in the Group D of the AFCON qualifier, I think is good. And you take a look at the pattern of play, I think it's a bit, lively, an improvement from what we saw in the days of Finidi George and Joseph Isero, where they were defensively ended. I think we've seen a little bit of flair, loosening up of the players as well on the pitch of play out there. We saw the kind of football that so many Nigerians want to see, which is, starting from the front foot, attacking from the front foot as well, knocking the ball with ease, relaxing on the ball, trying to make something out of nothing. Even in small spaces, you see where they were still, able to put, those passes together. In the wings as well, very effective. Our midfield as well, not a bad one at all. So for me, I think it's been a great one for the 2 games that Austin Eguavon has presided over under interim capacity. I tell you, for me, I think the assessment from the range of 1 to 10, I will give Austin Eguavon 7%.
What do you make of individual performance of the players as well?
For me, individually, football is a team game. So most time it could be very difficult to start, assessing individual performance of a player in a team that is made up of more than 2 players. A football game is about 11 players on the pitch of play. The coach out there will be on the touchline, the 11th man, which are the fans. So it is always very difficult for you to single out a player and begin to, praise him. So I think it's about the collective, pattern of play that I would rather go for, and not to, assess individual players. Individually, they did pretty well. Every man was able to hold his own on his position. But you must talk about the collective performance of the team, which has been very good. There is an understanding among the team out there. From what we saw from the 2 games that Austin Eguavon has played so far. There seems to be a rejuvenated Super Eagles. There seems to be, a Super Eagles that brought back that tranquility, that peace, the understanding among the players, and a unity of purpose, so which for me, it is the embodiment that makes up, a very good team. Singling a player out for praise could even scatter or destroy the, unity of a team, and I don't always, like to do that. That is what most coaches does as well. In a game, you will see one player scoring hat-trick, and after the game, when the player is being interviewed or the coach, they will rather go for, praise for the collective performance of the team rather than singling himself out for a praise because you did extremely well. What if the man, that gave you those assists refused to give you that assist? Would you have scored? What if that man decided to pass the ball to the next opponent? Will you have shined? So most times it could be very demeaning or demoralizing for the collective interest of a team for you to single out one player. But collectively, I think the Super Eagles players, they have been doing very well. They have done very well in these last 2 games.
A lot of fans have been, or Nigerians, they've been clamoring for Coach Austin Eguavon to take up the Super Eagles coaching job because he's acting on interim base. Some persons are saying the NFF should just give him the job based on the performance we've seen in the last 2 games for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I don't know what you make of at that.
From the little statistics I've just rolled out earlier, it's very evident that he should be the man for the job. He has played 2 games, you know, 1-1, draw one of those games, and the one he drew was an away game against a very strong side, talking about Rwanda, who was playing at their first stadium, at the Amahoro Stadium, for the very first time. They had a point to prove, you know, against a coach that have played 7 games for the Rwandan national team. I have not lost a single game so far. So, you know, playing them away, you know, getting a very a single point, a very vital point in that way is not a bad one. Winning your first game at home convincingly, 3-0 with a very positive, you know, kind of football. I think for me, there's no doubt or whether he should be given the job on a permanent basis. I know it is too early to call to start evaluating his performance with 2 games, but then it took less than 2 games before criticism, you know, setting for Finidi George. Just 2 games that he played, and before you know it, head was set loose. Head was, you know, let loose from every quarter. No, people are saying, no, this is not what we want to see. Finidi George is not the man for the job. Just 2 games that he played, the pressure piled up against him, and he couldn't cope up. He had to, you know, step aside. But 2 games with Austin Eguavoen, you have seen a clear, different pattern of play entirely, totally different from that of Finidi George and Joseph Pissarro, and you can see that indeed he has the love of the players. The players support him, and he also understands the pulse. He feels the pulse of the players. So I think for such a coach that have this understanding among players, and if you listen to some of the interviews from the key players as well, you know, they have made it very known earlier, even before the game against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic, that the coach knows them very well, and they know the coach as well. They are putting their trust on the coach, so you can't start, you know, you can't let him go now to bring a new coach. That will destabilize the chemistry of the team as it is. So for me, if you ask me, I think Austin Eguavoen, you know, deserves to be given the job on a permanent basis because he understands what the Super Eagles job is all about. He wears the shoe. He understands the feelings of the fan because he's been there, you know, at the highest level. So as a Nigerian, a core Nigerian, he knows the tradition of the Super Eagles. He understands the philosophy. He knows what we want. You know, so for me, for such a coach, and then being that he is at home with the players, before a player could give you his 100% as a coach, you must be able to identify with those players, give them their own maximum regard as well. And because if you treat some players with levity, just because you think that you are the boss, I tell you, they are going to, you know, mess you up. They are going to make nonsense of your CV as a coach. But if you are down to the earth, but not saying that you should be down to the earth to the extent that you cannot wield the big stick, that you cannot caution any of these players. But no, that is not what I mean. You must be able to know when to spare the rod. You must also be able to know when to wield the big stick against the players in order to bring discipline, because that is one of the things that actually faltered the basis of Finidi George in him for him retiring, because there seems not to be proper discipline in the camp. But from what we've seen, the players respect the coach, talking about Eguavoen, and Eguavoen as well, you know, has the respect of the players, and the players also respect. So why bring in a new coach? Why letting him go? Do you want to bring a new problem in the team by thereby scattering? So for me, I think I'm of the opinion that Austin Eguavoen should be given the job on a permanent basis if we must rate him with these 2 games so far.
All right, let's see how it goes. We'll look forward to see what the decision of the NFF, that's the Nigeria Football Federation, will be in the coming days. Of course, we got the report after that game against Rwanda that Austin Eguavoen, of course, has you know, stepped down, quit, and all of that. But I think when he arrived in Nigeria, he was able to clear the air that he's still in charge of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's stay away from the Super Eagles, Michael. Harry Kane, world man, who is very much decorated with, you know, accolades. He celebrated his 100th England cap in memory style as he as the striker's superb double see the 2-0 win against Finland in the Nation League yesterday. England captain Kane struck with a pair of eye-catching finishes in the second half at Wembley to mark the latest landmark in his remarkable career. The 31-year-old is the 10th man to reach a century of England appearances, joining the likes of David Beckham and Bobby Moore in the exclusive club. Michael, what do you make of this feat, for Harry Kane? A lot of persons are saying that he's just winning accolades, goal scoring, golden boots and all of that, but no major, trophy to show. 31 years of age. You think, from what we're seeing on ground at this point, he's playing for Bayern Munich, and of course for the English national side, is a trophy? Is Harry Kane close to a trophy anytime soon?
Maybe, just maybe. The club that he was playing for, Tottenham, was never that club that he can stay and win a major trophy. And that is why for him to have stayed long at Tottenham was even a big question mark for me. Because at the end of your career, I will keep saying it, what your children will ask you, Daddy, were such a great player during your days, a very prolific striker, you score goal for fun. We say, yes, my daughter, my son, that is who I was. I will not ask you, Daddy, where is the trophy? Where are the trophy that you won? I say, no, I did not play for trophy. I was just there banging goals for fun. Oh, no, they will say, no, Daddy. So there will be this disbelief among the children that, no, I don't think that it was true. But if you have a tangible something to show for, Daddy, where are the trophy? This is what I want. This is the EPL. This is the Champions. This is FA Cup. This is Europa Cup. This is the Golden Boot. Before you start mentioning the individual award, that one, anybody could believe you. Your kid will believe you. So for me, I think Harry Kane, he has done a whole lot for himself. One of the best, striker, a goal poacher that we have. As it is right now, he made a very big statement for himself, joining the likes of Wayne Rooney, David Beckham, Bobby Moore, Bobby Charlton, as one of the players that have done 100 caps for England. He did it in magical fashion, scoring twice on a day that he's playing for his 100 cap for England. As it is right now, he's the all-time top scorer for the Three Lions with 68 goals, massive record. But at the end of these things all, in future to come, nothing to show for it. That is how bad it will be.
But now that is close to a major trophy.
Just maybe close to major trophy because he went to Bayern Munich. And in Bayern Munich, he can be rest assured that if he spends 3 years there, at most, he can win 2 out of the 3 Bundesliga because of the way the Bundesliga is being monopolized by Bayern Munich. If not for Bayer Leverkusen that came to break down monopoly for last season, and in fact even denied them the least cup that Harry Kane would have tested, the DFB vocal, which for me I think is quite disappointing. Let's hope that Harry Kane is going to have something to back up his impressive self before he left. He should have done that with the English national team. Haven't gotten close to the Euro, even in the last World Cup where they got to the semi-final, but then unfortunately look as though the trophy, lack of trophy at Tottenham continued to haunt him everywhere he goes. In a season where he should have at least won something in Bayern Munich, the little thing that he would have won, Bayern Leverkusen took it away from him. But that is not to say he's not a good striker. Harry Kane is a good striker any day, any time. But he must cap that thing up with something tangible, like a serious trophy. I mean, serious trophy like Champions League, Bundesliga, World Cup, UEFA Cup, before we can truly say, yes, he's among the greats.
All right, let's see how it is. We hope that things will get better for Harry Kane, at least for him to get a major trophy for himself. But Michael, injury not the best of friends for some players who participated in the international window. Nathan Ake was carried off injured on the stretcher as the Netherlands and Germany played out an entertaining 2-2 draw in the Nations League. Manchester City defender Ake pulled up off the ball with what looked to be a serious muscular injury shortly after Dennis O'Dave's first international goal for Germany cancelled out Tijani Rajinda's early opener. Joshua Kimmich puts the visitors ahead in first half at the time before Dempsey and Dumfries leveled the trailing Group A3 clash at Jordan Crouch Arena. That's one. Michael, what do you make of it? Injury not the best of friend for some players. We also got to report that Calafiori, the new Arsenal man, of course, was injured. Not only that, Martin Odegaard injured as well. Really a troubling time, you see, for Arsenal Football Club and also for Manchester City, where Nathan Ake, of course, was also injured.
Yes, for me, starting from Manchester City, I think with the tactical prowess of Pep Guardiola, he can always, reject his squad. He can always create something out of nothing. He can always to work his tactics in order to block the loopholes of Nathan Ake being absent from the defense line. But the major worry for me is about Arsenal. Arsenal not going to have Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Calafiori. It's a big worry for Arsenal as they hope to challenge for the league title once more, against Manchester City. This is not a good time. Very troubling moment for Arsenal, especially when they will be coming up against Tottenham over this weekend, and it's going to be a very big game. So missing 3 of key Arsenal players is going to tell on them. And the big question: can Arteta, maneuver this by putting up a top-notch tactical, display that is going to, closing the gap and seal these loopholes of not having Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice? It's a big question. Wait to see the weekend, but I tell you, it is not a good one for Arsenal fans, are they?
Not a good one, of course, for Arsenal faithfuls. But away from that, Michael, Mauricio Pochettino, we hear he has now landed in the United States of America. He's a journeyman. Of course, that's where he is at the moment. He's the coach of the USA national men basketball team. What do you make of Pochettino in the United States?
Thank God that he landed safely without crashing. I think it's a good one for Pochettino. And for USA, they are actually preparing ahead of the next World Cup where they will be co-hosting, and they need a quality and a sound coach that can be able to tinker the team. Looking at what their last coach did at the Copa America, you saw how USA were eliminated in the very virgin state of the competition. And for the USA, they are thinking just maybe this is not the coach that is going to help us during the World Cup where we'll be co-hosting with other countries to make a statement of intent, and that is why they deem it necessary to relieve him of his appointment, bring the coach who have traveled far and wide, but then I think as it is, Mauricio Pochettino, just maybe that man that can be able to galvanize the US men team and get them to the next level. And coincidentally, Mahrez, former Chelsea coach as well, former Chelsea female coach, was also employed by United States women coach. United women team as well to be their coach. And coincidentally, Mauricio Pochettino was ex-Chelsea coach as well. So it's a new dawn for the United States of America in terms of their male and female football out there. Let's hope that Pochettino can give them what they want by helping them to compete, favorably well against other countries.
Let's see how it goes, of course, for Mauricio Pochettino. We hope, of course, he gets things right down there in the United States of America. But, Michael, we have to, of course, call it a wrap up this point. But we can't go without talking about, the man Victor Moses. Is now back in England, and this time with Luton Town.
It's a good one for him. I think when his contract expired with Spartak Moscow of Russia, he had to go on a free agent, and that is why he went to Luton Town. Luton Town, is it a good club for him? Well, he may say, yeah, he has passed his prime, and it could be a very good one for him to start. Don't also forget he has, he had Premier League experience, so he wouldn't find it very, very difficult. He has played for Liverpool, Chelsea, different clubs are other in England, so it could be a very good one for him. At 33, I think it's an experienced one that Luton Town have added to their rank.
All right, let's see how it goes for the man, Victor Moses. We hope, of course, he gets things done down there at Luton Town. But we can't go without telling you that the Nigerian under-18 male and female basketball team, of course, they are a sport extraordinaire for getting down to the quarterfinals for the ongoing under-18 Afro Basketball Championship. The first time, of course, I was seeing the two Nigerian side getting down to that particular stage. That's the quarterfinal of the championship, and of course they are a sport extraordinaire on today's edition of the show. Michael, will it be an impressive time this evening?
Always a big time, talking sport right here.
All right, don't forget to be back tomorrow by 7 a.m. on Sports Talk. Of course, I will bring you the latest revolving round the beautiful world of sports once again. But before then, we have more programs coming right here on Atlantic Television Network for you. Stay locked, as of course we'll have some interesting programs for you. Don't forget, Peace Unity always a pathways to progress. You can go down to our different social media handles. The conversation, of course, continues right there. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.
From life across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara